You might have heard of Hurricane Helene and the devastation it has caused, but you might not know that Mercury 1 is on the ground helping residents of Asheville, North Carolina, along with Congressman Cory Mills. Here is part of what Mills is flying in and delivering to the supplies for the victims there affected.
Quick update. We've heard the CASA. We've got more supplies that's coming inbound. We're going to be delivering to Western North Carolina for day 3. This will be about 5 tons of supplies total. Everything from water to diapers to food to non-perishables. We're also bringing in 2 very qualified combat, medical combat PJs who will help with bringing in any of the medical supplies necessary, like we did yesterday with insulin, but also help with medevac and voice operations. So again, trying to get and fill the gap the federal government's going to continue to fall short. As soon as we get on the ground, it's got a heavy fog right now, so it's kind of delaying any type of kilo operations. But we'll keep you updated as we get in there.
He said 5 tons of supplies. That's just today, right? They've been out there doing this all week. Cory Mills alongside Mercury 1, helping them out and delivering the food, the supplies, because as Cory said, the government isn't there, Matthew.
Yeah, this is why we felt it was so important to go there. And this is one of those situations in which, tragic situation, but good for us in the sense that we can cover it for you and help people at the same time. So, Glenn Beck's own Mercury 1 charity is flying out there. They brought Cory Mills out there. Julio Rosas is there now. He's out there shooting this stuff and also writing stories for us. And a few other people will be out there soon as well. So we're sending people there and we're covering the story. And it's important we do so because, as you know, the legacy media has not covered this like they should. And I'm hearing today Steve Baker is probably going to be there next week. He's from North Carolina. He's helping with a staging area. People like that are telling me that FEMA still is not there. Like these people very much need help. And they haven't seen anyone from the government in many places.
No, and if this is Hurricane Sandy and it's New York and New Jersey that's affected, it's all over the news every single day. I want to make sure that it doesn't happen here, that this doesn't just fall by the wayside, that this is still in people's minds and they're still willing to go in and help out wherever they can.
Yeah, this happens a lot, by the way, and it's not just political bias, it is regional bias of where media is located. And these people act in these cities as if the rest of America just doesn't exist. And that's the great thing about being in Dallas. We're not on the coast, at least. So anyway, you look at what the serious point here is that we have hundreds of thousands of miles of people who have been affected in multiple states, not just Western North Carolina, but around it as well. Georgia, I mean, you got people talking about Augusta still. And their stories need to be told. We don't even know their stories, and we're still finding bodies. So this is a moment to help, and it's also a moment for us to shine a light for everybody else on what's going on to help these people, and hopefully raise awareness, because mainstream media, quote unquote, legacy media is not doing its job.
Yeah, and our national correspondent Julio Rosas is out there, and he's capturing a ton of video for us, getting a ton of interviews. And let's listen to an emergency worker talking about the hurricane.
2 inches of water in here, and in 2 minutes it was to my knees. And I looked outside, and it was chest deep, and then I went upstairs, and in a minute the doors buckled and the water came through. This pickup was sitting right there near the tables, and it pushed it all the way halfway down the building. The truck down there with the open bays, it was in here. It's supposed that's about a $300,000 cash unit. It was unbelievable. I've been here my whole life. I've never seen anything like it. My grandmother talked about the 1916 flood, and from what she told me, this is on the order of that.
Yeah, I listened to that and I hear him say, okay, there was 2 inches of rain. And then I go back and it was up to my waist, right? This came on so quickly. And so if people are saying, oh, well, they should have been out there preparing, they should have been doing more. Well, a lot of these people didn't think this severity, this level of damage was going to happen in their area.
Yeah, I mean, I think as Biden claims, I think he's not wrong. FEMA did something. They sent some people to some of these regions, but no one was expecting anything like this. The fact that they had so much rain beforehand and then all of a sudden this dumped on them, I mean, this was unexpected. And this is more than a 100-year event, right? 1916 flood maybe was as bad, and that was over 100 years ago. So this is one of those things that just comes out of nowhere and happens. and you have to respond to it. And what's really disturbing is we still have whole counties, right, without water, where there's the water plant's gone. I mean, and that's not going to come back until God knows how long, but months at least. And then you also have situations in which power has gone out as well, and the way in which it's set up as basic infrastructure will have to be repaired, and that's going to take a long time.
Mercury One's executive director, JP Decker, joined the show on Monday, and he was talking about the point that FEMA is still not there.
It is the everyday person who's upset and frustrated that our government's not doing anything. And again, we don't have to have our government do everything. But this is one of those moments where we should step up and help our fellow Americans instead of people outside of this world that we just gave a few billion to in Ukraine. And so yet again, our government is failing the everyday American who just needs help.
Couldn't agree more. It's still going on. That was from Monday. It still holds true today. I have an updated list of what Mercury One has done on the ground. They are transporting oxygen bottles and insulin and Starlinks to a hospital in North Carolina, along with Cory Mills. They've been rescuing families that are trapped in North Carolina. Many of them have been without food and water or medical attention since the storm started. They have partnered with numerous other organizations and churches to bring warm meals and gift cards because fuel is a problem. Just finding food right now is a problem. There's an entire, 2 other paragraphs of the things that Mercury One has done. But you see the money that has been raised is already in action in North Carolina right now.
Oh yeah, as JP Decker said, they're turning around, they're getting out there. What people need to realize right now, and this is hard to believe, but you need to realize that if you're sitting comfortably at home, is what JP Decker said and Al Robertson said, right? He told us the other day, I mean, it had been 2.5 days at that point, and he hadn't seen anyone from the federal government. You have people today who are cut off by roads still. Helicopters were the only way to get in and out. I just heard from Steve Baker this morning. One of the people who lives in the route, she counted over 70 helicopter trips going back and forth the last few days, every day, over her house. Today, there was 2 or 3.
Wow.
And the problem is they're shutting down. The federal government is trying to shut down individual people getting in and out of these places. And in the meantime, they're still stranded and trapped. So this is a very much an ongoing emergency and situation that people need to realize and pay attention to.